What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Optimize You. We are the podcast helping you optimize every single area of your life and constantly reach towards that full potential. And today we have a fun one. We're going to be talking about Matt and myself's biggest gym pet peeves. So hopefully if you're doing any of these things, you can fucking stop doing them because they're probably not just our pet peeves.
That ain't it.
A lot of it's like almost like don't do's in the gym too, like, or do's. Like there's certain things you should be doing in the gym that a lot of people don't do. And there's certain things that people do that you should fucking stop doing. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And before we get started though, if you are enjoying the podcast, if you are a first time listener to the podcast, welcome. We appreciate you. Make sure you click that subscribe button on whatever platform you're watching or listening so that you don't miss our future Tuesday and Thursday episodes that we drop every single week. And if you do enjoy the podcast, all we ask is you share it with somebody. Share it with somebody who you think could benefit. Get that word out about it. We feel really, really good about the product that we're putting out. We're constantly trying to improve. We're constantly trying to direct our topics more towards you guys out there. And so we just appreciate if you'd share it and help us continue to grow and help more people. And let's get into it. So Matt, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm excited to talk about this one because this one's near and dear to my heart. And it's the reason why I prefer not to work out in a public gym for a lot of these reasons that we're going to talk about. I'd rather just work out. It's why I built out my own home gym, right? I like to work out at home. Now, there's great benefits of working out at public gyms, obviously, but a lot of these things kind of steered me in the direction to, okay, let's not have to deal with those anymore. So I'm excited to chat about these today, man. And I like we're going to include some do's and don'ts, right? Like some stuff that maybe almost like unwritten rules in the gym community, I guess. And yeah, man, I'm excited to dive into it. How about you, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just sitting here. Got Coco here. I've been struggling. So like with my walks recently, it's been later in the day. I've been getting them in. And so that's cool. Mm-hmm. But it's just like my time management skills have been a little bit all over the place recently. I just feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but that's cool. That shit's going to happen. I'm still getting the shit done I need to get done. But let me ask you this. So let's get into it. What is your first, like one of your biggest gym pet peeves that people do?
It bugs the shit out of me when people are rude, man. Like in this, probably not just in the gym, but and more so, I mean rude. Like you almost see it from people who have enough experience in the gym that they've been there long enough to where they're no longer considered a beginner or a newbie, but they're not quite advanced either. I see this a lot from like the in-betweeners thinking that they are advanced. And so what if you're advanced or not, but you still got to treat people with respect. And I see it like when people, this is an example how you know how somebody kind of thinks that their shit don't stink and that they kind of run the gym or they whatever machine they're on, they own it, right? And so one example is like if somebody comes up and politely asks like how many sets do you have left, and they either like shake their head or they brush you off or they just kind of have that attitude, man. That's one of the things that I probably hate the most is when somebody has just a shitty attitude or they're rude to other people who are extremely polite to them. And of course there's going to be one-off case scenarios where like you may not know what that person's going through, but you also just have dicks in there, right? That are just flat out assholes that, you know, just think that they're better than everybody else. Those are the people that I'm talking about, not somebody that had like a bad day or they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, because we all have those days. I'm talking about the people who are consistently assholes, especially when people approach them. That's a big one for me, man. What about you?
Yeah. Well, those people suck. Yeah. They
suck.
There's not a lot of them generally. I think a lot of the people you meet at the gym, especially I'm a morning workout guy. A lot of those people are more the consistent people you kind of see in the gym on a more regular basis. I feel like I've never really had that problem, but then, you know, I think you get into the afternoon crowd, the after work crowd, and you get a lot more people that are like,
yes,
this is a generalization, but you know, there's probably a lot more people in that crowd that are kind of dickheads and that think their shit don't stink, all that stuff. But I'd say one of my things is I fucking hate, and I think this comes from working out in college, you know, having the college weight room, like the athletic weight room, people that don't put their weights back in the right spot.
I knew
or
you
don't
were
put
say
their
that.
weights back in general. Like this stuff, I actually go around and adjust the fucking weights in the gym. Like when people don't do that, because I fucking hate it. It's like, how hard is it? Like, are you not able to see numbers. Like I don't even understand it. Like people put like the 70s on the 30s, and like it's like they're labeled for a fucking reason, guys. Like let's,
Yeah.
or the people that just leave their weights out or leave the weights on the barbell or something on the squat rack, they just leave it there. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like this,
Yep.
that stuff pisses me off. I hate that shit.
And those are two similar people, but totally different scenarios, right? That some people
Yes.
actually put their weights back, but they kind of like half-ass give a shit, and so they put them in the wrong place, or they put them where they got them, which may necessarily not be the right position either. So instead of taking the extra 2 seconds to put them back correctly or switch them out, and line the dumbbells up accordingly, they just don't. They either put them back, or to your point, they just completely leave them out. It's like,
Oh,
dude, it's like
same
not putting
people.
your cart back at the grocery store.
Oh, fucking idiots,
You
dude.
know?
I don't like those people. Like that is, and I think these people are the same. If you put them back in a wrong spot, it's kind of the same as not even putting them back anyway, because somebody's going to have to come and adjust them. But I guess it is worse to not put them back at all, or to leave all your weights
Yeah,
on stuff. Like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't even
yeah.
understand that. And then it comes down to the not cleaning their shit, right? Like that, like I
Mm.
see that way too much in the gym. Like not cleaning the stuff, like sweating all over something and then just leaving. Like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah.
are the
That's
same
gross.
people. Like I think those people are the same people that they don't put their weights back, or they put them in the wrong spot. They don't clean their shit. Just the gym should just like look at the cameras and then just like kick these fucking people out of the gym. That's my opinion.
You know what I think it is? Yeah, you know what I think is it's just like it's the same people that have like that sense of entitlement, right? It's like that false sense of entitlement. They don't feel like they have to wipe down their sweaty ass equipment. They don't feel that they have to put their weights back. Oh, somebody gets paid to clean up the floor, so they'll put my shit back, so to speak. It's like, no, that's not how it works, dude. Like you have to respect the gym, the atmosphere that you're in. Like for a lot of us who do this as a profession too, it's our office. So you gotta remember, like, you got to respect the place that you come in and day out and put hard, relentless effort into. And so for that, you want to make sure that your environment is also a respectable place. And that comes down to cleaning up, and cleaning up after people sucks when you know it's not your shit that you did. We still do it, right? Like we'll still do it. Doesn't matter who did it, but it's just like that. That says a lot about people's character too. Like when you see people putting weights back that they didn't use, or somebody just left their shit out, and it's not like an employee that works at the gym, it's just somebody that like really truly cares and they're putting stuff back. Like I love those people. I'll go conversate with those people. Those people have a lot in common with me, and I feel like I could click with those people right away, versus the dickhead that leaves their stuff out, who's egotistical, who thinks they're better than everybody else. Like I'm gonna have problems with that person. Like I'm not gonna get along with them, because what other corners are they cutting in their life? Whether you're their friend, whether you're their family member, like they're gonna be skimping somewhere, outside of the gym as well, because they're showing their true habits and their true colors and what they're doing. It's not just like them being lazy and not putting shit back. It's like, no, that's their character. That's who they are as a person. So imagine all the other shit they're doing throughout their day. Like imagine the trash after they eat out at a public place that they're just leaving on the table. And when there's clearly signs and garbage cans right next to the door where you can just stack your tray, like imagine all the other shit that those kind of people are doing.
Yeah, and they're the same people that are like arrogant to servers. Like
Mm-hmm.
they think that everybody's like out there to be their butler, basically. And like
Yeah.
the previous episode that we did, I talked about how I really don't like people that don't follow through on their word, that say something and their
Mm.
actions don't align. I bet you those are the same fucking people that do that. They don't, like, they're sitting there on a Friday looking for the best option. They made plans,
Mm-hmm.
but then they're going to cancel on Susie's dinner that they said they'd go to 3 weeks ago, and they're going to go to Tony's party because that's going to be more fun. Like that. Those are the same fucking people that we don't
Yeah,
like.
dude.
We're not fans of those people. But what else you got?
Those
What else?
people
What other kind of
suck.
pet peeves you got from the gym?
Those people
I
suck.
know you have your own gym, which is a great move. You don't have to deal with these fucking people anymore. But what else you got from like your gym days?
Yeah, I spent over a decade in public gyms though too, so like
Well, you were working in them,
I
so you saw you saw all the shit.
dude, yeah, I've seen everything, bro. Like I've seen some crazy shit. Another one is like the person who's trying to be seen, like the person that stands right in front of the dumbbell rack in front of the mirrors, like, or just like, sets up shop right in front of the whole dumbbell racks. Like, dude, get your shit out of the way. Like the world doesn't, revolve around you. Like move out of the way. And you could just tell, like they're almost like kind of like looking in the mirror just to see if other people are looking, or they're like kind of looking over their shoulder versus focusing on what they're doing. Again, it's ego lifters, right? And I like that shit gets under my skin. I hate it. And so when I see those people, I try to literally give them zero attention. Like soon as I see them, I acknowledge them, and then boom, I'm not going to look their way ever again, right? And so that's one big thing for me, because a lot of times those guys too, this is another thing, is they're like the grunters and yellers, and the shit that bugs me the most is the weight throwers, right? Especially if they did like a set of dumbbells or something. I get it if you're like maxing and shit, and you're like, you don't want to hurt yourself, and you're going to safely kind of like dump a set of dumbbells down to your sides. I'm talking about like warm-up sets, moderate weight, fucking every set, and they're throwing dumbbells. And it's like, dude, you're not the only person in this gym. You're going to hurt somebody, right? It's going to ricochet. It's going to hit off somebody. You're going to damage. You're going to break equipment. Like, dude, I hate those guys.
I honestly don't even think that you ever need to throw weights unless if you're like failing on something. Here, look at this fucking shit, guys. Look at this shit.
He's got a set right here. We're gonna do a one-on-one demo right here.
Helpful, like you like get done and you like put them on your fucking knees and then like set them down. Like that's
put them on your knees.
Oh,
is literally all you have to do.
Literally, that's like they're just seeking attention.
Yeah.
They're literally just seeking attention, and that's like frustrating. It's so frustrating because this is there's so many of these things too. This is hilarious. That those people that stand in there, they throw the weights, like you said, they're just trying to get like a rise out of people or whatever.
You don't want to be seen, man.
Yeah, like if you're doing a max out set, like you said, if you're doing like a max out set or you're like failing, like don't hurt yourself. Like if you need to drop them, I had to do it every once in a while. But most of the time, you shouldn't have to do that. And then how about the people who they take like 5 sets of dumbbells and they're like sitting, or they have like 5 sets of fucking dumbbells with them. They're doing like just a bunch of different
shop, bro.
Oh my God. It's the same people that have like 3 different machines that they have like a towel on and whatever, and they're jumping around.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah. Calling dibs on your fucking machine because you put a towel on it, like, and you're working on like 2 other machines. Like I get the whole superset thing, but bro, you don't got dibs on every single machine in this section here. Like just because you put your bag by one and then you put your towel on another and then you balance your water bottle on another one. Like, dude, you don't have all these machines. And it's like the people that like won't be accepting or willing, especially on a machine. It's so easy just to, change a pin or something, or just adjust a plate or two. Like it's so easy just to work in with somebody, right? Like, and just, especially if they're doing like a circuit and they're going to be on that machine and then they're moving to the next, great. That's an opportunity for me to jump in right behind you. We can both get our work in. You're not using this machine right now. You just used it. I can get my set in, readjust the weight before you even get back to it. Like we're good. It's those guys that just feel like they're deserving. They're entitled to the machines themselves, right? And they feel like they own them. It's like, dude, you're not the only person in here. I don't know. That stuff pissed me off. What's another one, man? I'm trying to think of the top. I know there's more. I know there's way more, but those are the ones that like come to mind first. Like,
sorry, we got Coco. We got Coco here. She's very vocal. She does not like when somebody knocked at our door. There's probably a delivery, and I hate when they knock at the door because then Coco starts barking, and so you're getting a little sense of Coco here. And you know what Coco hates in the gym is when what I would say is like on that thing, like when you're doing, if you don't need to do a superset on like multiple different machines, if there's a lot of people in the gym or if there's whatever, like use dumbbells. Like you can use dumbbells anywhere. You can bring them anywhere, and they're so versatile to be able to do so many different things that you could use. Or like if you're on like a cable, like there's so many different ways you could use a cable. If you're going to do like a bicep and tricep, superset, you could do it by just raising the cable, doing like tricep
Yep.
extensions, and then lowering the cable and doing like cable bicep curls or something like that. Like there's a million different things that you could do there. And so I would even encourage, I don't like when people do that in general. And maybe I'm off base there. And I'm kind of a dickhead like when it comes to these things, because I just think there's a lot better ways to navigate it. And I think it's kind of arrogant to try to take up 2 or 3 different machines and have a bench and then be using this machine and that and whatever. I just think that there's better ways to navigate it. And if you're going to do that,
100%.
come at a different time when the gym's not as busy,
There you
because
go.
there's
Yeah.
people that will do it like at 5 p.m. Right? Like, not that I ever really go there, but I used to work out at that time at certain periods, and you got people that are doing that shit, and the gym's busy, and it's like, dude, just you don't need to superset today. Like you can do it differently, and that's why I encourage people to have alternates too, because if you do go when the gym's busy, having alternate like 2-3 different alternate movements you could do for each thing on your list, then is a really good way to go about it. But another thing for me, let me think here.
I got
Oh,
one.
saunas. The fucking
Oh,
old
yeah.
people in the saunas that like just are they're just
Dick
naked.
and balls
Like,
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're like thinking that everybody wants to see their fucking nuts. Like it's
Yeah.
no, put a towel on, like, and we probably don't have many people listening to this podcast that are gonna,
Yeah.
we're not like
Yeah.
talking to anybody here. Like
Yeah.
if anybody listening to this podcast is that person, then just fucking put a towel on, keep your shorts on. Nobody wants to see the fact that you're very confident in whatever.
Yeah.
Like I respect these old people that give zero fucks, but
Right.
nobody wants to see that. Like
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm okay on that. Eventually I'll be able to look down and see that. I can
Yeah.
I don't need to see you and naked in the sauna.
Oh man. Yeah. I think another thing for me is the ego lifting. You see it a lot with like, just I think people just give a shit about what other people think or what they have as far as weight on the bar. And so that people will like load things up that are outside of their current abilities. You see it all the time, like in squat racks, dudes doing quarter squats, right? Like now if you're working like a partial, like top half, weakness point training, like that's totally different. But I'm talking about the people who consistently load shit up way heavier outside of their means and doing these little small ranges of motion. Again, it's all for attention. It's all for ego driven. Another one, and along the lines of that, is never squatting and only leg pressing. Not because you have an injury or because like it's literally just strictly preference in loading up the leg press machine with like 80 fucking thousand plates, right? Because it makes you look super strong. When in actuality, we load you up with 135, we put both feet on the ground on a platform or in a squat rack, and you can't do a full ass to grass squat. Like there's a problem with that, right? So you're just strengthening based on ego because it looks cool. Not to mention you're taking all the plates from everybody else who's trying to lift too, and you're trying to make it look like you're strong and get your buddy to hop on top of all the plates and hop onto the leg press on top of it too. And it's like, yeah, it looks cool, but you're on a fixed plane. You're basically on a Smith machine for your legs is what it is basically, right? Like it's a leg press Smith machine is, on a fixed plane motion. You're not putting your actual body in space. Do they have a place in an entire workout regimen that's properly programmed and progressed? Yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking about the guys that are only leg pressing just for the sake of loading up as many plates as they possibly can on this thing. And you'll never see them in a squat rack doing a full depth squat. So it's like, I hate those guys, man. I just hate them.
Well, generally those people too, they're doing like eighth reps, right? Like it's like they have like they're not even
dude.
doing a rep, and
What the fuck?
that's, I mean, whatever. Like if you really want to do that, like more power to you. Nobody actually thinks you're cool, but it's that's yeah. There's, I mean, and then you have people that they do like absurd exercises, right? Like they'll do like fucking, they'll like work their neck muscles. It's like, what are you like? Are you boxing? Like maybe,
what are you getting ready for, bro?
Thing. Like, but they're doing like crazy shit, and I've seen some absurd stuff at the gym. I'm sure you have working in a gym, like people doing some insane exercises, and you're like, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like that's don't do dumb shit. You see people like balancing on like a Bosu ball, doing squats with a barbell on
Oh
their
yeah.
back or something like that, or like I've seen some crazy shit that I'm like watching them, and like I got like 911 on speed dial for like I'm like I like type it in
Yeah.
my phone. I'm like just ready for when they fall down and
Yeah.
break their leg or something like that. Like that's it's just absurd because people working out at like a commercial gym, like they're not generally, you might seen some people that are training for like bodybuilding and stuff like that, but those guys aren't going to be, they're going to be doing the regular compound stuff and, maybe isolation type exercises. Generally they're pretty good. It's
Hmm.
these random people like who were watching like their favorite football player do
Yeah.
some crazy shit that the football player maybe shouldn't even be doing anyway, because some of these like some of these football player, like their personal trainer guys that they have, I feel like are just trying to like go so far against the curve as well, and it's just absurd. They don't necessarily need to be doing that. But then also the influencer people, or like the celebrity, how about the celebrity fucking personal trainers out there, like those guys, oh my gosh, they have these people doing like the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's like, dude, he's training for like a drama movie. It's like why is
Yeah.
he doing like single leg like pistol squats on a Bosu ball?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like what do you have him doing? It's like they, and then people. What frustrates me about a lot of that stuff is like these guys will put it out there, and then like random people who just work at a bank will go into the gym and try to do these things like thinking it's what they should be doing
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
their favorite celebrities doing these things or whatever.
Yep.
It's like I think that a lot of that stuff is just bad for the industry in general, because then that how much of that, like I think some of these people are just stupid, right? Like they're going to hurt themselves anyway, but how much of that goes on these people for like putting out these stupid fucking exercises that they're having their clients do too, right? Like, because some people are just, they're just clueless, and they're just like, they're legitimately, they're trying to achieve a goal, and they think maybe that's what they should be doing to achieve the
Mm.
goal. Like that, some of that onus I think goes on that fucking idiot celebrity trainer that's doing these stupid things with their clients.
Yeah, it's such a sticky situation too, right? Because you look at it from the trainer's perspective, I get it. They're trying to do something that looks out of the ordinary, that looks out of the norm to attract and say like, "Oh, I train Chris Hemsworth, so and this is what we do to get him ready for Thor or whatever," right? Like we do these crazy ass exercises. And so as a coach or as a program designer, you want to look unique and different when in actuality that celebrity or that athlete, that big time athlete could literally do, and they probably do the most basic shit. But when it comes to like, oh, let's market something that looks super crazy, we're going to put it on film. I'm going to have you do some crazy shit. And to your point, the average Joe sees that and they think that that person has built that body off these crazy ass, like obnoxious exercises. So then they go into the gym and go, oh, that's what I have to do. And then we see people doing crazy shit at the gym, right? It's like because they just saw their favorite actor or their favorite athlete doing some crazy shit, not knowing that the minds behind that aren't necessarily to maximize performance or muscle or anything like that. It's to catch your eye, and they did exactly that. They're trying to grasp your attention to say, hey, look at this new cool different crazy shit. Hey, next time you're at the gym, of course, if you're a fan, you're going to go like, oh man, I'm going to try that, I'm going to do that. I must look like my favorite celebrity. I must look like my favorite athlete if I do his crazy ass exercises. When in actuality, that actor or that athlete has been training the fundamentals, the basics 4 years. That's the part that you don't see, right? Performing compound and isolation lifts and doing some sort of variation of hit or conditioning, like they're doing the traditional shit. But when the camera comes on and you got to film something and market it, do the craziest shit possible because it looks cool, it looks unique, and now people are going to copy it, which then we in turn see people in the gym doing these crazy things. And it's like, damn, they just saw that on like a quick Instagram video, or they just saw that on YouTube, or they just, having no idea the purpose behind it. They just correlate with my favorite actor or athlete does that. I'm going to do that too because I look up to them. which sucks because it's not knowing and understanding. It's a whole marketing ploy. It's not to get you in the best shape possible. It's not to get you fight ready for this movie, because if that was the case, then you would most likely do a lot of shit that's very fundamental and very basic. There's a reason why this stuff works. Not like the balancing and stacking up dumbbells as high as you can and doing push-ups on them, like not stupid shit like that. Or the videos of the influencers that we see that are like, do this to get crazy abs, and they're showing you some ab exercise, just dumb shit, man. It frustrates me for sure.
Oh yeah. And the thing is like some of it's unattainable for people out there anyway. Some of these guys have amazing genetics. Some of them have some help, and that's not to say that that's not to put their work to the wayside, because I think even these people that have like amazing physiques, even if they are enhanced, which like there's plenty of people who are, it's hard to get there still. Like it's so hard. You got to eat a certain
Super
way
hard.
still. You might have a little bit of help. You're going to be able to recover quicker, probably able to work out more often than the normal natural lifter. But still, that's not to say that like some of these physiques are actually not even potentially physiques that somebody could get. Like they're like, even if they took all the steroids in the world, all the whatever, they still couldn't reach it. Like there's some people out there that are so gifted genetically, on top of the fact that they're taking testosterone or HGH or something like that. Literally, like it's still impossible for the normal person to get there. And like that's something for people to keep in mind there. Another pet peeve that just came to mind was the guy who plays fucking music really loud or plays it without a fucking headphones in. That person.
Yeah.
How about that person? Like it's like
fucking dude.
and a lot of times what you'll see is like sometimes you see it in the actual gym, but a lot of times you'll see it in the locker room. Like the guys will be playing their music super loud or something like that. I don't know if any women do this, but because I've never been in the women's locker room, but but like I see it a lot with dudes, like they're playing their music or they're like talking on like speakerphone on a call or something like that.
Yes.
Stop it. Like, come on.
Stop it. And since we're talking about phones too, it's the dude that's on his phone sitting on the machine or taking up the bench or, just texting and sitting there for way longer than they need to. There ain't no rest period is that long. Right. And so now they're extending and prolonging the time of something that you probably need to use or somebody else needs to use. And they're just sitting, chatting away, scrolling through their phone on social media, just bullshit and wasting time. I hate that. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. My clients, I make them put their phones down, put them in the locker room, put them away. Like you're not going to look at your phone for the next hour. Like you don't need it. We're very strategic on what we're doing. We're going to be form correcting. I need you to focus on the muscle groups we're working on. We have very strategic rest periods. Like there's no time in there for you to be scrolling on your phone. There's no time for you to be dicking around. So it's a lot of the younger people too. Occasionally you'll see older people do it, but it's a lot of the younger guys.
How about the social guy? How about the social person, the person who you never see actually do a set? He just talks to everybody at the gym and wastes everybody's fucking time. That guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily a pet peeve.
They're usually good-hearted.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a pet peeve. It's just kind of funny. Like you see the guy. He knows everybody at the gym, but you're like
everybody.
I've never seen you actually like mix in a workout here. You just go and talk to people. But
usually drinking a smoothie or like has a protein bar while he's talking, like just not there to lift at all. He's there to it's social hour for him.
Oh yeah. You see that with a lot of old guys. I think they're there to have a conversation with people. Like it's just they're maybe they just need to talk to people and whatever. More power to you. That's cool. But I've always like when I would go to my previous gym, there would always be that, and then he'd like talk to me, and I'm like, dude, I'm not here to talk to you. Like I'm here to get this fucking workout in and get out of here. Like it's cool. You're nice, whatever, but go talk to somebody who doesn't actually want to work out.
Yeah. If you guys are in that position, man, headphones, a hoodie, like you'd be surprised. Like you can zone up, get in your zone. And if they still come up to you and tap you and they want to talk and they're that social to where they can see you're definitely focused, I give them props at that point. I'm like, all right, they're like, you're not gonna beat this person or outsmart them. Like they're gonna come talk to you no matter what. And so, you know, you just give them the time of day. But yeah, like there are those social butterflies in there for sure.
And you could always just say with those people too, you could just be like, hey, listen, like you could talk to them for a second, like in between sets, and then just be like, hey, like I'm kind of on a time crunch here. Like I got to get back to my set.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. I got
that's
to get
pretty
this done, man.
simple.
I got to
But they're
be like,
nice. Like a lot of those guys are really nice.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, for sure.
they're good people. It's just, you know,
Yeah,
they're not there for the same reason that we are. You know,
no,
they're there to
yeah,
have conversations, which I mean is needed too. You need to have socialization. So I get it.
for
I get
sure.
it. But
Yeah,
do you have
we're
anything
not
else?
saying that one's a pet peeve. We're more so
No.
prepping people for like those people are in the gym, the social butterflies. You just gotta keep them on your radar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
and some of them like I like, you know, you if you go to the gym enough at the same time, especially that morning crowd, you might not see this as much in the evenings, but that morning crowd, you might actually meet some cool people there. Like I've had, you know, I went to the same
yeah,
gym for like 5 years, and like you start to meet some pretty cool people, and just like they're there for the same reason
hmm
you are, but you can still have a conversation with them, like, oh, things are going, whatever. Talk to them for a few minutes. Like I think that's cool. But it's not, you know, with those kind of people, it's generally not this super long and drawn out like conversation. It's more or less just like a check in, like, hey, what's going? What are you hitting today? You know, like oh fuck yeah, like
yeah.
you know, just kind of like back and forth there, which is good. And I've met some really cool people in the sauna because I love doing the sauna after all my workouts, stretching a little bit in there, getting a sweat in. It's really good for you, obviously. And I've met some really cool people in there, just having conversations, and so
For sure.
that's always good. But do you have any other gym pet peeves before we wrap up?
I would say this one's usually like the people closest to you that, or like if you have training partners, if you guys have workout people. Um, I used to train with one of my best friends a lot of the times, and I don't know if he used to do this on purpose or what, but it'd always be like right before I hit a big set, and he would just rip one, bro, like just the smelliest, stinkiest,
Oh
like.
my
And
god.
if you're going for a heavy set, like you're trying to zone up, you're getting
Yeah.
focused, and all of a sudden you just inhale, or you feel like you almost taste it, and you just look back and make eye contact with them. You're like, bro, like
Oh.
right before my set, like you could have walked 15 yards over there and did that. Like, you know, I used
Oh.
to hate that.
That's brutal. I haven't worked out with anybody in a long time. But what is your opinion on that? Like what I you know, this isn't really on the topic of necessarily gym, but of, you know, gym pet peeves, but what, while we're on it, what's your opinion on workout partners? You know, because I could go
I
both
think it's
ways on it,
great.
right? I could go both ways.
Yeah. I think it's great. And I think it's great if you have the right mindset and you're viewing through the right lens. What I mean by that is it's very, very difficult if you expect a certain level of consistency out of yourself to rely on somebody else to also meet that standard, right? Unless you guys are completely on the same page. However, don't don't base you showing up to the gym whether they show up or not. And that's very hard to do. Like use it as like extra credit or icing on the cake that you have somebody there that pushes you or that can potentially spot you in some tough or challenging sets. And it's just fun from a camaraderie standpoint, especially if you, and even better is like a small group. If you have a group of people like 3 to 5, that makes it super fun. I think those are some of my funnest times in the gym, of just having like a small tight knit group that you guys train together, because even if 1 or 2 people miss, there's still another 1 or 2 people there. So the consistency is a lot better. But I've also gone years where I've had a single workout partner, which is great too. But you also can't rely on them to show up every single time, because they may not have the same ambitions as you, the same goals as you. And so when you put your eggs into that basket and you're so used to them showing up and you love the high vibes and the good energy and being there with somebody, and you're expecting that, and all of a sudden they don't show up or they call you last minute saying that they cancel, don't just write your workout off as shit, or that you're not going to go, right? And I see people do that a lot, like, oh, so and so's not going to show up to class. When I was coaching group classes, like, so and so's not going to show up, so I'm not going to show up today either. It's like, no, if you do it like that, you're doing it wrong. So that's why I think that it's a great to also train on your own too. Like some of my best training sessions have been solo by myself. Do I prefer to train with somebody? Yes, absolutely. I train with somebody now every morning, 6 days a week, and it's great. It's phenomenal. We hold each other accountable. We show up same day, same time. Like it sucks, but I know when I'm peeling myself out of bed at, 5 a.m., I know he is too. And so we're meeting each other there. So if you have somebody that you can rely on from that aspect of it, it can really, really work to your advantage. However, if you are viewing through the wrong lens and just writing something off immediately just because they can't make it for that day, and that you also too can't make it for your own excuse, then it starts to become a crutch. And so that's where I've fallen in. That's where I think the partner thing's really tough. And that's why I think like you need to be able to train on your own consistently and be able to push yourself. Because sometimes here's the downside with training with somebody is if they aren't as strong as you or their skill level's not there, oftentimes you won't push yourself as hard because you'll match their skill level, right? Or you'll get closer to their weight. Or since you're already above them in strength and a lot of things, you don't necessarily push yourself. But if you go in by yourself and you are the standard, or your previous week or your previous workout was the standard, and you're trying to match or exceed that, that's where you can have some awesome progression. So you have to just be very good in knowing yourself, I think, and knowing where your strengths and weaknesses are at, where you thrive, where you tend to drop the ball, and can I plug somebody in here to help kind of pick me up, so to speak. So I don't think there's any right or wrong. I think you just need to know yourself really well and figure out what works for you best to drive the best consistency. That's what I would say. What about you, man?
Yeah. I've never been a huge fan of workout partners, but I've
Mm.
had one good workout partner at a certain point. I had it was, we had similar lifts. I think that's a huge key of a workout partner is being around the same level. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like a huge thing, because if you're having to like peel off a ton of weights and like put, like that every time, you're going to be in the gym for fucking hours. Like, I just think like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, that's why I like working out by myself, is that I personally don't have any sort of problems getting to the gym. Like, I'm there. Like, I know I'm going to get there. I know I'm going to get a good workout in, but the pushing of a good partner like that, you can really grow a lot quicker for sure. If you have the right partner that's close to you, or maybe even a little bit more weight than you, it can really help
Mm-hmm.
you get to the next level. And like you said, having somebody to spot you too, like in certain type of situations, can be really good, because if you really are trying to push a little bit closer to failure on certain exercises, then you can do that. You can actually go to failure, or if you wanted to go even past failure, you can get that assistance to do that, which can in certain, I don't necessarily recommend doing that all the time, but in certain phases of a program could be a good thing to mix in, for people. So I would just say, like you said, make sure that you can get there on your own and get a good workout in by yourself. Because when you do, I think what you see a lot of times with people who have workout partners is they rely so heavily on the workout partner that if that person isn't going, they don't go either. And so then or they go and they just like twiddle their thumbs and do really nothing. So I think that's kind of where my
Mm-hmm.
hesitancy for workout partners comes into play, is I've seen that way too much with people where they're like so reliant on the workout partner. And so then when they
Yes.
stop going, they actually stop going as well,
Yeah,
like
right.
parties do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
I think it's maybe don't have a workout partner for everything, like for certain people. Know yourself, right? Like and maybe if you find somebody who's ultra consistent, and you just know yourself and you're like, I'm just not that person. Maybe you need a workout partner, right? So I think it's so dependent on the person. Like, I think it's important to be able to do it yourself, but if you just know, like, I'm not the type of person, I just need somebody that's going to hold me accountable, find somebody who's going all the fucking time, and be there and use them as a workout partner.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you're the person who occasionally misses and makes the excuse, maybe you need to partner with the person that's extremely consistent and who's not going to miss. Like, they're not going to miss. So, yeah, it's a great point. Like, if you're on the other side of the coin, like partner yourself with that consistent person. It's going to have you show up more times than not, because eventually you're going to get tired of saying excuses. And if that partner's any sort of, help and hold you accountable, like they'll call you out on your BS. That's the good thing about partners too, is like, you guys can form check each other, right? Make sure you're moving well. You'll always have that camaraderie in terms of challenging each other on the weights. And even if they're different skill levels, but you see that, if somebody's not as skilled as you, but they're pushing harder in their set, and they're like at 85, 90% of their lift, and you're like I wasn't pushing that hard on my last set. I need to step it up. Like you get a lot of that too, which is great. Despite you guys lifting totally different loads, it's all relative to, each individual. So I think, yeah, if you know how to leverage it and you know how to use it to your advantage and kind of plug a partner in where you feel you're weak at and they can complement you in those sort of things, like it's hard to beat. It's tough to beat. Like the power of a partner or community is like super, super strong. That shit is real. Same thing when like if you do have, when I was coaching group classes too, we had something like the 645 class, right? They were super tight knit, same like 15, 20 people. If somebody didn't show up, they were calling that person like to make sure they were okay, like they didn't get a flat tire or something. Like, so that group, the power of that kind of community, like dude, they are holding you accountable. And a lot of times if like you don't show up, you either called them and told them like why you weren't showing up, which then it got relayed to me a lot of it, like, oh, so-and-so's not here tonight. They got whatever. Right. Like, and so you got a group of people that are caring about you and like helping you hold accountable. And they want to see you do really well too, because on days where they have to pick you up, it goes vice versa too. There's going to be days where, you got to get yourself picked up too, meaning like you're not going to feel motivated. You're not going to feel inspired, but if your group or your crew or your partner showing up, like it doesn't matter how you feel, like you got to show up for them because they're showing up too. And so that's where I feel like it comes into play. And it could absolutely be used for some leverage too. And, to kind of go back to the pet peeves, sometimes, in those group scenarios, in those group situations, you have that one annoying person, right? Like you have that asshole in the group or the asshole in the community that like, they're not fun to be around, but you love them. I can think of a couple people off the top of my head. They were just absolute dickheads and assholes, but you still loved them. You still wanted to see them do well. When they showed up, they were grumpy. And hopefully by the end of the day, if we would take it as a win, if they left on a high note and they got a good workout in and a good sweat, we could pat them on the back and hopefully they come in a little bit better next time, knowing they wouldn't. Like you're going to have those people in there too, but it's cool. It's all fun. It's all part of it. That's the beauty of having like group atmospheres, I think. And too, from just working on teams, like there's going to be some guys that you got to pick up more than others. And so that's the beauty about having like a team atmosphere, group atmosphere, that camaraderie, the community aspect of it. But even if you just have a single individual workout partner too, like the wins that we talked about too are huge benefit. I think you just have to know yourself, test some different things out, see what works for you well, what drives the best adherence, what gets the most consistency out of you. Is it training with somebody? Is it not training with somebody? Maybe is it training with somebody, but you're like, I need to try training with somebody else, like that's at a higher skill level or that is more consistent than I am, or like, you know what I mean? And just, I would just recommend people trial and error and just experiment until they find something that works really well with them.
Absolutely. I love it. And honestly, I have nothing more to add to that. I think just kind of wrapping it up here. That was a good episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Kind of more an entertaining episode, but also an episode that hopefully you take to heart if you're doing any of these things. I mean, obviously we're not the end all be all, but stop doing those fucking things if you're doing it.
Yeah. We just seen enough to know like, yeah.
Or wipe your machines down. Cause I think that's like on the do side of things. Wipe your fucking machines down. Nobody wants to sit on your sweaty machine. Back. Yeah.
Nobody I think cares what you're lifting.
Oh yeah. Nobody actually cares. They're so focused on themselves. Like they don't even notice you, Yeah. But like, really, we appreciate you guys as always. If you're new, we just want to say welcome. Make sure you subscribe. We drop these every Tuesday, Thursday. If you're not new and you enjoy, if you want to share it with somebody, that'd be awesome. It helps us grow. We're putting these out every week, and we're trying to cater to you guys, trying to have some more entertaining episodes like this one as well coming up. But we really appreciate you guys. We hope you have a good rest of the day, a good rest of the week, and we'll be talking to you soon.